We're in Pella, Iowa with the new Vermeer spreader. We're pretty excited about this. It's got a lot of neat features, and we're going to walk around and show some of them. First thing we talked about was they got one straight tongue tube instead of a triangle, which means you're going to be able to turn a lot shorter. The other thing is these spreaders have scales, which would be the load cells right here, load cells here, instead of an axle load cell. With this system will be a lot stronger. The next thing I'd like Wayne to talk about is the weld job on this spreader. He was pointing out some of the beauty of the weld.
Yeah, everything's welded solid all the way down through, all the way across. Good welds. The bottom got heavy duty rockers.
Was telling me about the competition that he's welded on already. They tend to do a seam weld and then a seal, or short beads and then a seal. And with this all welded solid, there's no way for moisture to get inside, and it gives a significant strength. Next thing we'd like to look at a little bit is the drive system. This uses either a single or a tandem gearbox. On this spreader, they do have the tandem gearbox, one on each side, and that gives us twice the torque on our floor chain.
We go to the beaters. They are heat treated, hardened. It's got the heavy duty plate. This paddle sticks out the back further, spreads it wider. Panel off. Says make stock paddles. And it's 4 bolts on both sides. That's 5 bolts on both sides. Take it off, the chain hooks. They're right here.
There were a couple different beater attachment options too. The other thing we can do is put a plate over the back, and then we can use it for chicken manure or finer materials. That turns it more into a spinner spreader instead of just your pure vertical beater spreader, meaning you can use it for pen pack, take the plate off for pen pack, and then just throw it back on for chicken manure. May not do quite as nice a job as an actual spinner spreader, fertilizer spreader style, but it'll do a very acceptable job. They told us, what, 40-foot spread width on this one?
Yes, with pen pack.
So, it'll be acceptable. The drive system on the beaters is kind of slick too. So this is the cushion system on their beaters. Basically, the bottom plate is driven by the gearboxes under here, and then they have, could you say, an inverted plate going in here, and this is these rubber blocks are taking the shock out of the drives on those beaters, meaning if you do wedge a rock or something, it's not going to jam tight. It's going to give it a little cushion there. The next thing is on these web chains, instead of bearings here, they're using a bushing like this. It is greasable, but they said that a bearing for them, when in their design stage, was often just lasting
one season.
Yeah, one season.
Yeah.
And this will go 5, 6 seasons. And when it is time to take it off and replace it, you just pop the gearbox off, slip the old one out, slip a new one in.
And when you run down the road, the tailgate pushes this down, tailgate goes up and closes it. So manure don't cover everything.
Simplest system you can come up with on that.
Simple.
Yeah. Just gravity making that work. That's so slick. There's a grease bank here for your bearings underneath on your tandems. Basically, you have 2 grease fittings here and 1 there.
The axle.
The other thing I'd like to point out here at the axle is they have multiple holes here, and so depending on your tractor and things and material for that matter, you pop these bolts out, you can move this tandem front and back and adjust your tongue weight. So you can get that balance just like you want it.
Okay, so the floor has a poly floor. Under the poly floor is a solid steel plate. Welded solid. It's 1/4 inch.
This has a rate controller also on this machine. That's an option. But if I understood him right, basically it calculates, you put on, let's say you want to put on 4 ton to the acre. It uses the scale and calculates how much is going off. And so therefore it's just automatically adjusting your rate to match your tonnage. You don't have to weigh how much a cubic foot weighs or anything like that. Therefore your gate height doesn't matter. You know, you can put your gate height to whatever you want, and it just controls the web speed to get it kicked out. The way I understand this monitor, you would have this set for your how much per acre you want right here, and your spread width, and at that point it would just kind of take care of itself. It calculates your tractor speed off of GPS in this case, and it has your spread width, so it takes care of itself from there. Now this is an isobus system, isobus compatible, which means if you do have an isobus tractor and you do have GPS on your tractor, it can take care of itself. It can do mapping if your tractor is equipped with that. This is a smaller version. This is a 300 cubic foot. All these measurements are given in standard feet measurements. So 300 cubic feet. And this one is still, I would say, built as heavy as the other ones. There's a few small advantages to this one in some cases. It has standard truck tires. It's a little bit lower than the other one also, which is important for loading height. But as I understand, it's still the same thickness of sidewalls and the same chain.
So you can load this thing with a regular skid loader, smaller skid loaders. The tires are narrow, they're in against. And the same with the floor. It's got a poly top, poly liner, and a 1/4 inch floor welded under, solid, welded solid.
Hopefully that gives you some information about the new spreaders. Wayne and Evan are definitely out in the field and seeing some of these equipment in action. Let us know if we can get you into one of these. If you think it's something we should stock, we'd love to hear your feedback. Give us a call, 570-966-3821, or talk to one of the sales team through email, sales@hoovertractor.us. See you next time.